What if I told you that the next time someone takes a verbal jab at you in public, you could respond with such confidence that not only would they never target you again, but you might actually transform them from an enemy into an ally? We've all experienced that sinking feeling in our stomach as we scramble for words, anything to say back, but nothing comes. However, 3 hours later, when we're in the shower, the perfect comeback finally arrives. That moment when time seems to freeze, everyone's eyes are on you, waiting for your response, but then your brain decides to take an unscheduled vacation. I'm not just talking about clever comebacks. I'm talking about those moments that chip away at your self-worth, that make you question yourself long after the conversation ends. Those moments that keep you awake at night, replaying what you should have said. However, stay with me until the end, because I'll share the single most devastating response I've ever used. One that completely transformed a workplace bully into an ally without a single harsh word. Trust me, it's not what you expect, but it changed my life in ways I never imagined possible. Let me tell you about what happened to me last year at my company's holiday party. I had just completed a major project that saved our department thousands of dollars. I was feeling pretty good about myself until Jason from accounting loudly sat across the table. Nice work on that project. Must be nice to finally contribute something after coasting for so long. The table went silent. Everyone looked at me. But then I did exactly what most people do. I laughed awkwardly, muttered something about doing my best, and quickly changed the subject. However, inside I was devastated. Not just angry at Jason, but deeply disappointed in myself for not standing up to him. I felt small, powerless, like my accomplishments meant nothing. For days afterward, I kept replaying that scene in my head, thinking of all the things I should have said. I avoided the break room, took a different route to my desk, all to minimize the chance of running into Jason again. However, it wasn't the first time something like this had happened to me. That's when I decided enough was enough. I needed to learn how to handle these situations better, not to be mean or aggressive, but to reclaim my dignity and self-respect, which I'd been giving away piece by piece, interaction by interaction. Now, before we dive deeper, let me ask you, have you ever been in a situation like this? A moment where someone put you on the spot, and later you wished you had responded differently? If so, take a second and drop a comment below. Tell me what happened, how it made you feel, and what you wish you had said. Trust me, you're not alone in this, and you never know. Your story might help someone else who's going through the same thing right now. And if you're finding this valuable so far, don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Because in a few moments I'm going to show you exactly why this keeps happening, and more importantly, how to stop it for good. Think about the last time someone said something that made you feel small or embarrassed. Really feel it. Remember the sensation in your body. But then, in 10 seconds, what would you say if it happened again today? How did you do? Was your mind racing? Did you come up with something brilliant, or did you draw a blank? Did you feel that same knot in your stomach just thinking about it? Whatever happened, keep that feeling in mind as we continue. What I discovered changed everything for me, and it might for you too. Every time we swallow our words and let someone else make us feel small without responding, we're not just losing face in that moment. We're surrendering a piece of our self-worth. We're silently telling ourselves, I don't deserve to be treated better. We tell ourselves we're taking the high road by staying silent. However, here's the uncomfortable truth. Real confidence isn't about avoiding conflict. It's about handling it with grace and intelligence. It's about honoring yourself enough to say, no, I won't accept this treatment. But then, let me ask you this. How many times have you noticed that the same people keep targeting the same victims with their comments? It's not random. They instinctively know who will push back and who won't. They can sense it. like predators sensing fear. Here's something that might shock you. In a study of workplace dynamics, researchers found that people who occasionally push back against negative comments receive 37% fewer critical remarks over time than those who always stay silent. That's right. Responding effectively doesn't escalate conflict. It actually prevents future instances. When you stand up for yourself, you're not just addressing the current moment, you're reshaping how people will treat you for years to come. Before I share the strategies that transformed how I handle these situations, let's look at the 3 biggest mistakes most of us make. Mistake number 1, the fake laugh. We've all done it. Someone makes a cutting remark, and we laugh along as if it's the funniest thing we've ever heard, while inside we're dying a little. Here's the problem. When you laugh at yourself in response to someone's attempt to embarrass you, you're essentially saying, "You're right. I am ridiculous." You think you're diffusing the situation. However, what you're really doing is inviting more of the same treatment. Each time you do it, something inside you shrinks a little more. Mistake number 2, the desperate explanation. No, that's not what happened at all. Let me explain. Sound familiar? When we rush to explain ourselves after someone takes a shot at us, we're unconsciously accepting their premise that we've done something wrong or embarrassing. The more you explain, the more power you give to their original comment. The deeper you dig this hole of justification, the smaller you appear, both to them and to yourself. Mistake number 3, the frozen statue. This was my specialty. Someone would say something cutting and I'd just freeze. My mind would go blank, my mouth would go dry, and I'd stand there like a deer in headlights, feeling the weight of every second of silence crushing me. While staying silent might seem dignified in theory, in practice, it often comes across as defeat. That feeling of "I should have said something" can haunt you for days, even years. I'll let you in on something I don't usually share. This pattern affected me so deeply that I once turned down a promotion because it would have meant working more closely with someone who constantly made me feel small. Think about that. I literally limited my career because I didn't know how to handle these situations. There were nights I came home and cried, not just because of what happened that day, but because I felt trapped in a pattern I couldn't escape. I felt powerless in my own life. That's the real cost of not having these skills. It's not just about awkward moments. It's about how these moments shape your choices, your opportunities, and ultimately, your life. Remember Jason from accounting? 6 months after that holiday party disaster, we were in a team meeting when he tried the same tactic again. Well, if we're looking for ideas that'll actually work, maybe we should skip your turn. However, this time I was prepared. I didn't get angry. I didn't laugh awkwardly. I smiled, looked him directly in the eye, and said, "You know, Jason, I've noticed you tend to criticize others when you're feeling unsure about your own contributions. Is everything okay with your project?" The room went silent again. But this time, all eyes were on Jason. He mumbled something and quickly changed the subject. That moment was transformative, not because I won the exchange, but because, for the first time, I held my ground with composure and intelligence. I felt something I hadn't felt in years, pride in how I handled myself. And Jason, he never targeted me again. That's the power of true confidence, not the loud, showy kind, but the quiet, steady kind that makes people rethink the way they treat you. And that's why, the next time someone tries to put you down, you won't freeze. You'll hold your ground, and you'll own the moment.